You're watching Soccer Night in Detroit.
Welcome. It's me, Hannah Crum, with two legends.
Okay, me, Steve.
Steve.
And Mad Cat.
And Mad Cat.
This guy right here. Every time you score, he has to play this song for you every time, every single time. David, he appears. I believe in Derek. Let's go.
All right. Hopefully everybody's settled down and getting ready for a nice little Thanksgiving weekend, but the football world never stops.
Yeah, with the end of the USL season and the soon-to-be end of the MLS season, it's kind of like a little break, considering we're almost at that little break, Madcap, because next week we have added a World Cup draw preview, and we're going to announce the draw for next week from the World Cup of Hell. And it did get a little hell. We'll tell you that a little bit later on. But, man, like I said, after the final, there's nothing else to talk about.
Oh, believe me, there's a lot to talk about. First up, big news came down yesterday.
Oh,
as
yeah.
Far as Alumni 5 Field goes.
And you'd probably be happy when the first line of their press release say, demolition of the hospital to begin soon. And everybody has been asking me, when the hospital coming down? When the hospital coming down? I passed by a bunch of times. The hospital still up, but it's coming down soon because of a big decision yesterday.
Detroit City Council approved the land deal which Detroit City FC were to build Alumni 5 Field, including a affordable housing project, which includes 78 residences as well, 423 spot parking garage as well. So they got to go from the city council yesterday to get that started and rolling.
Yeah, they would approve among the broader of the community benefit package, or community. You know what I'm talking about? Community benefits package, and yes, demo is about to begin soon, and everybody probably was happy about it. Let me tell you, I probably knew about, thanks to a friend of ours named John Sturge, who's on the Facebook page, and he mentioned about the approval, and the final approval was coming yesterday. So I did watch the city council meeting. I was going to go down there, but I spent the day way up too late. So I saw the whole thing on the internet. You know what I mean? The council meeting. So
yep, a couple other people were involved in there. Dwayne Daniels, a youth coach in the DCFC organization, made a few comments as well, and all that stuff. All positive vibes going down at the Colvin Young Municipal Center in front of the whole city council. Unanimous vote for the project. And of course, it is, as everyone knows, this is the only privately funded project that is, involving a sports team in this town. Even though, yes, obviously there are tax breaks, the brownfield assessment, obviously for the demolition of the hospital and whatnot. And other than that, this is the only stadium that's going to be paying property taxes in the area. Ford Field doesn't. Obviously,
No.
Little Caesars doesn't. And obviously, Comerica Park doesn't.
I was going to ask.
So yeah, basically, this is the only stadium that is paying property taxes. This is the first stadium since in the area since the Palace of Auburn Hills was built under
That was in Auburn Hills.
Yeah, personal built not privately instead of public.
Yes, I remember William Dazen, who used to own the Pistons. Built it himself, literally.
Yep. And of course, unfortunately, that got torn down when Tom Gores decided to move the team downtown.
To Auburn, to downtown, yeah.
Yeah. So that no longer exists. But this will be the first privately financed sporting venue since then. So lots of like I said, we saw the plans, we saw everything and all that stuff. All they
And
needed
I
was the
was
green light,
reading
and they finally got it.
Yeah, and I was reading a long PDF the other day of all the meetings and all that. There was a little opposition to it, but honestly, all good. I was listening to the comments. Everybody is all for it. Few negative comments, but hey, it's approved. Not only that, they also approved the train ground for the WNBA Detroit Shock, the return of the Detroit Shock before they come in the league in 2029. So yeah, very exciting. By the way, last week they had a meeting. They had the owner meeting, and what I've been told, work is already being done at the hospital site. Please explain that, Cat.
Yes, they're getting it basically prepped for demolition is what it to be. So like anything that's in the inside of the building and all that, they're tearing all that stuff apart before they go through with the actual demolition of the building. And it's not really going to be, take the wrecking ball, knock it down type deal. The equipment's there. They've got claw machines that will take apart the building one by one, and they'll go from there. And then once they get everything cleaned up and all that, they can start building.
So what is being removed inside the building? I know I've seen pictures of the building. They had walls and all that. That's been scraped away and all that.
I mean, basic stuff. I mean, it was built in 1974. So a lot of the, how do you say it? I mean, everything that wasn't regulated, shall we say, got involved in it. Like how everything's regulated nowadays. But yeah, I I don't know. That's why they got, basically because of the brownfield, because you never know. I mean, if there's asbestos in the building, if there's lead in the building, type deals, because like I said, it was built in 1974. So a lot of the standards that we now are used to in the building trades nowadays, weren't there in 1974.
I see.
So yeah, just a lot of that going on. Just tearing down the inside and all that before getting the claws out and tearing it down piece by piece.
Yeah. So they're just going to use piece by with a claw, right? Now they're not going to deconstruct the building one tile at a, like they did with the Joe Louis Arena when that was shut down. They didn't use a wrecking ball or a claw. They just they tore apart bit by bit before.
That's basically what it is. That's basically what the claw does. It tears it off bit by bit. So
okay,
is basically what the it's a slower demolition process, but it gets it done regardless. Kind of like I don't know if you've been by the Mammoth store.
Yes, I have been by the Mammoth store. I used to pat that long. That was recently tore down as well.
Yeah, I think they would. I think they might go through that same process if I do imagine so. I mean, it's not really brick and mortar like the Mammoth store was, so there's a lot more involved. Same with Joe Louis Arena. I mean, there wasn't really much brick and mortar to do with Joe Louis Arena.
I see.
So
I know.
It's a different process for a different building, I guess.
I know. And Southwest General Hospital is not a big building, by the way.
No, it is not.
So it could last 2 months. Who knows? And what I read in the end of the press release, demolition could start within 2 weeks. So right now we're recording this on the 26th. So demolition could begin December 10th, if not sooner.
Absolutely. Speaking of building.
Okay.
Speaking of building, it's time for most teams to start building their rosters as they go into the 2026 season and in the USL Championship. But of course, Detroit City made their announcement on Monday.
Yes, and no surprise, these were the players we predicted that would stay during if we were sporting directors during the portion there.
Absolutely. Obviously, Connor Rutz was last week. After the during the owners meeting and announced before Stephen Carroll's retirement, but The club option has been made on Haruki Yamazaki, so
That was a surprise, to tell you the truth. You know what I mean?
I thought he would stay. I thought he would stay. He played well enough to do so in that aspect. I think, a fast young kid. I mean, he's not going to be he's not going to be one of those that's going to score goals a lot, but he's out there, making tackles, getting players frustrated and whatnot, and on occasion he'll deliver the ball and set up a play to, create scoring opportunities. So not a surprise there. Young kid too, great kid. I think he's I think he could make himself a future here at Detroit City FC, and
Let's hope so. He's part of a core group of players coming back, including Sandana, Devin Amamento, who may be the new captain of the team now with Stephen Carroll retiring. Michael Bryan's back. A bunch of people are back, right?
Yeah. Lejo, Carlos, as you mentioned, Carlos Herrera, Carlos Saldana, Darren Smith, Shane Wheat, Reese Williams, who's also coming back from injury, Ben Morris, who's coming back from injury, Marcelo Polisi, who's coming back from injury. Yeah, so total right now, let's see here, we got 5, 10,
contracted
12 players, or 13 players when you count Bilal Obeid, who's on the academy contract, so he'll be back next year. Another academy, out of contract and in talks to return are Jasil Cedeno, Atis Juf, who was on loan. His loan expired, so now they're in talks and getting him permanently. Kobe Hernandez.
Yeah, he was an important part of that team with the second leading next to Darren Smith, who is also coming back, by the way, with 7 goals.
Yeah. So, let's see, Kobe Hernandez Foster, they're in talks of keeping him. He came in on the transfer last year from Las Vegas via Birmingham. Birmingham via Las Vegas, or however you want to slice that one. Yeah. Originally from Birmingham. I think he maybe appeared for like about a cup of coffee in Las Vegas and then came here. And then Ryan Williams also in talks of returning here to Detroit City FC for hopefully another year or whatever, maybe a 2-year deal. We'll see what happens there. But
unfortunately, we had to let go some popular players. A couple of them were on the end of their loan with us here. A couple of them we expected, like Alan Villanueva. He announced his departure interim for the official release. Also, another player who was the other player? My brain is
Jay Chapman.
Jay Chapman. He was let go. Who else was let go?
Dom Gasso.
After only 2 years. Well, he wasn't here for the last 4 years, but wasn't used barely. So, unfortunately, he's a good local kid. I wish him well in the future. We'll see.
See what happens there. Sebastian Guenzati, we made note of that last week.
He signed to New York Cosmos League One.
Yep. Mm-hmm. His first club, by the way, New York Cosmos.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
During the second version of the NASL?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, yeah. That
prior to the NPSL.
Yeah.
So, let's see. And Tatenda Makruva, the 2 loanees, as you mentioned, Jordan Advayo-Smith and Isaiah LaFleur. Those were the guys that got released. But one name on the list, it said it was on the release, but he announced his retirement.
Yeah, you're right. When I saw his name on the list, I'm just saying, all right, he'll probably sign with another team, probably on air. That was before 3 hours later when he put this video.
The time has come for me to officially retire from professional football and to move on to the next chapter of my life. I truly feel like my legs have a lot left in them. I feel like I could play for another 5 years. I just came off one of the best seasons of my entire career, and I felt great for the last 3-4 years. Not a single problem. But for me, it's not physical. I always told myself that I would go and I would play until the wheels fell off. And I thought that was what was going to happen, but the wheels just weren't falling off. I still have the same love for the game that I've had when I first started playing. When I signed for my first club soccer team at 11, when I played collegiately, and even up until my first contract until today at 33 years old. And I would even say that I have more love for the game now than I did before.
This thing's got me teared up. Again. Again. Oh my goodness.
I know.
I best of wishes to. We kind of saw this coming when we did our little breakdown. We kind of saw this coming.
Yeah.
But great guy. He's done a lot. 700,000 plus subscribers to his YouTube.
Oh my God, becoming elite. I was a fan of him. I saw the first video I saw was his journey when he got transferred from Hartford Athletic, his old team, before he came here to here. And that is a long process.
I saw a video when Charleston came here. I think I used one of those. I think I used a soundbite from that, a little bit of a soundbite. Neil Roll, of course. I had to use that soundbite, for one of the intros for Soccer Night in Detroit. But yeah, nice guy, real nice guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, really friendly to talk to and all that stuff. We ended up talking with him post match one time. Really great guy to talk to, and like I said, one of the guys that's going to be missed. And he basically said the same thing that Stephen Carroll did. Played until the wheels fell off. Although the wheels didn't really fall off for him, as like Stephen Carroll's.
He was healthy. He was really great, but like you mentioned in the video, he have a family to support. He have 2 kids, And I remember in the game before we faced on Louisville City, he told his daughter, "Dude, I have to do a job on Halloween. I couldn't go to Halloween." Family is that important. You know what I mean? I must say, we all have to support our families, and
Yeah. And especially, we're coming into a time of year, which family is important, and Thanksgiving and holidays and all that stuff. And now he's going to be able to do that, and maybe maybe there's still he still wants to do stuff with soccer. May not be on the pitch, maybe behind the scenes or whatever.
He's a great,
he's a YouTuber, so
he's a great.
Maybe you could get him, maybe you could get him in the booth. We've seen that once before.
I said he is the soccer professor because beyond all the playing highlights, he really give advice of what to do or how to train. All his soccer drill player with our players and our players around various leagues is a must watch. You know what I mean? He could roll off. He could do coaching, or like you said, broadcasting. You know what I mean? He
Kevin Kerr, watch out.
Yeah. But listen, I wish all the best of him, and whatever he do, he'll be good and spectacular, and hopefully grow up a couple future soccer players. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be good. Continue the legacy in his family. So
that's all we said here. It's about legacy passing on from one generation to the next. So
100% right there. So, but needless to say, like I said, tough ones to take. Some were pretty easy as far as the roster moves go and all that stuff, and then we shall see what happens.
The free agency have just begun. I didn't jot down all the players who moved from there, but if you want a good thing, John Morrison is your man. If you go to Blue Tie, you have a free agent tracker and a roster tracker. Very helpful, and I hope every team is looking at their roster and say,
some names that are out there already. Nathan DeSantos, a fullback for Charleston, that they just let go. Louisville. Let's see here. Birmingham. Ronaldo Damas is a free agent now. after that.
Okay, you could restart your career with Detroit, Ronadamas.
Yep. After that dismal year that he had there.
Oh
Trying
yeah.
to look for some names that are out on the list right now. Some big names, I should say. I'm not going to say Damian Loss. Louisville just released theirs this morning. I'm not going to say Damian Loss because that was a loanee. There's a possibility, he might find himself a gig in MLS or something like that. But I'm
Like
sure
the
Louisville
team.
would love to have him back.
Yeah, they would. But remember, he signed with FC Austin.
Yeah, there could be a possibility that he might.
There could be a 50-50. He
Yeah.
could go MLS. Who
Speaking
knows?
of players that were on loan that were goalkeepers, Hunter Solte from Indy 11. We'll see what happens as far as that goes.
And don't forget,
Let's see.
every
So
player in North
yeah,
Carolina is a free agent.
Cam Lancaster, veteran from Lou City, on that list as well. They only have two guys. Let's see. Lou City kept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 guys. Wow. They kept a whole bunch, 16. They're pretty much intact for next year.
Oh my.
Yeah, they're pretty much intact for next year. Trying to look for some other big names that are on the list there.
Don't forget, every North Carolina FC player is a free agent this year.
Right, exactly. Every North Carolina player is a free agent. So
Yes, because the club is no more.
yeah. Big news in Oakland, Peter Wilson staying with the Roots.
Oh yes. Now you have to build around him. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And
just like the Pistons doing
that's
Billy
Ryan
Ron and
Martin's,
Kate Cunningham, and look what is happening. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's Ryan Martin's mission now, as he's the new coach over there. I'm just trying to find some big names that are on there. Pittsburgh has not made any announcements yet. Give them time.
He just came off the final.
Yeah, give them time, of course.
And FC Tulsa, same thing.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Lost. Oh yeah. Did we mention that Juan Agadello is hanging up his boots?
No, he didn't.
The corpse known as Juan Agadello, I think, is finally hanging up his boots. Speaking of players hanging up their boots, Brian Ownby being one of them. He announced his retirement yesterday. So that's another great USL player that we're losing. But there's going to be some names out there, I'm sure. Going forward, as far as in the free agent market or whatnot, or getting signed and all that stuff. We'll keep you abreast of it throughout the off season. So, but going back to Saturday.
Yeah, the USL final against Pittsburgh against FC Tulsa, won on PKs.
Yes.
Thanks to that unfortunate miss, which, oh, brother.
Needless to say, my friend decided to channel the great legacy of one Vern Lundquist.
I would like to say Stefan Lucas is now the sickest man for missing a PK. That is probably
sickest man in America? Did you just go Vern Lundquist on us?
Yes.
Oh, bless his heart. He's got to be the sickest man in America.
Yeah, he sure did channel old Vernie boy there. The sickest man.
Yeah,
bless his heart. Bless his heart.
Yeah, there's a story. It was one of the Super Bowls. The Dallas Cowboys tight end, I can't remember, Jake Smith, drop a surefire touchdown in the end zone instead of a 21-21
Jackie Smith,
yes. Oh my God! It became a blowout for I forgot who Dallas was playing in that Super Bowl.
Dallas was playing Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Steel Curtain. The Steel Curtain, one of my girlfriend's teams. And I know.
Now wait a minute. There's a parallel here.
What is the parallel?
Okay, your quote of sickest man. Okay, describing Stefan Lukic.
I know.
Kind of parallels the sickest man in America deal. And another Pittsburgh team was involved in it. So
It always
there's a
kept coming
parallel
back to
there.
Pittsburgh. It
And
always
both teams
kept back.
wearing yellow and black anyway. But regardless, because everybody wears yellow and black in Pittsburgh. That's a common thing, except for the Panthers, of course.
Yeah, you're
Um,
right.
but the thing is, no, the parallel there is, two Pittsburgh teams, Stefan Lukic couldn't believe he had it. He had it read, and he put it in, put it in the spot that he needed to do. Eric Dick was just right there to stop it.
I'll say it right now. I'll say it again. Right angle, a right shot, right side of the shot, but the angle wasn't good. It wasn't good. If you see that, let's see that again. He had no what he went, but he didn't go left or up. You know what I mean? And it was easy picking for Eric Dick, MVP of the game and the playoffs, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the definitely saves of the in a PK situation there. But however,
Oh yeah.
that game is being marred by a little incident which we're going to call Trophy Gate. We talked about it out of context on Saturday when you think about it, because we thought, it was a whole CBS thing and all that stuff. Apologies to those Oregon fans, apologies to USC fans and all that stuff. We took it all out of context as far as that.
Yeah.
Because USLC, or not USLC, USLPA came out with something the other day.
Yeah, and it was damning. 2 trophy celebrations, 2 scenes. What's the difference? You see, when Knox celebrate their trophy presentation when they won the League One title over Spokane Blackie 2-zip, they had the full trophy celebration stage, the background, all that, the streamers. It was great. And then Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it wasn't because the game win, the penalty kicks, I mean, extra time, penalty kicks, all that stuff. All we got to see was Commissioner McDonough pass the trophy over to Danny Griffin, and that was it.
And
that
then
was it. And we thought, like I said, we thought it was CBS cutting away.
And I was watching. I switched back to 2AND, the Spanish language broadcaster. There was still nothing. You know what I mean? After they went off there at 3:00 as planned.
Yep.
Well, apparently the reason why. Let's bring back to the start of the game when both FC Tulsa and Pittsburgh Browns came to the pitch. They were wearing Perel Tri-Professional League standard on their t-shirts.
Yep, exactly. They were wearing the shirts out on walkout, and this was an answer to that protest, or not. I would say that, or I would say the protest during the walkout.
Yeah,
and this was an answer to it. Supporters groups,
yes,
were holding up signs at halftime saying the same thing. USL wanted to block that all out.
Yeah, on their broadcast on CBS.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not like, they purchased the right. This is the USL broadcast that they're doing. There was no mention of the protest at all during when I was listening to All Access last night. They had no mention of the protest at all.
Oh, my.
But you could see clear as day when you were watching the match on Saturday, the players coming out in those T-shirts and making a statement saying, about the negotiations that are going on right now. This is gonna make a huge impact and maybe create a bigger rift in the whole negotiations. I think.
And there was a rift.
Go ahead.
They had the staging set, but somehow during the entire night, maybe halftime, maybe during the second half, USLC said, all right, here's our response. We're not going to do a celebration. You know what I mean?
And I think they might have done that. I mean, once they saw that, they probably were discussing it and all that stuff. Doesn't matter what happens and all that stuff. Oh, we'll just, and then to their lucky stars or whatever it is, the game went into extra time and obviously the penalty kicks and all that stuff. So they did that. What time did that broadcast end?
The broadcast on CBS ended at 2:50. They went a little bit overtime. It was set from 12 noon to 2:30. And then college football pregame for the USC Oregon game would happen, and that spill over to the first 20 minutes. And I was hoping, and then all of a sudden, all right, they're rolling the credits. They're getting out of it early as they can for the pregame show. So, but yeah,
and like I said, that's what we perceived it as. That's what we perceived it. That's what we perceived it as. It wasn't the fact that USL said, "Oh, we're not going to do this. This is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. You're going to try to ruin our product on our big stage." Sorry, no trophy presentation for you. Here's your trophy.
Or no trophy presentation to FC Tulsa if it was the other way.
Absolutely, there would be. Either way, there would not have been a trophy presentation.
That would have drawn FC Tulsa fans freaking nuts, for God's sake. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, it was throwing Pittsburgh fans nuts, and some FC Tulsa fans were standing up for that, saying that they deserve a trophy presentation. They beat us fair and square on the pitch. They deserve the trophy presentation, no matter, regardless of the result.
I think the USL blew it big time with this one. You know what I mean? They took
I think the USL sent a message to the players, is what it is. And it's going to see, and this is going to be, let's just say, the USL players, the players that walked out on Saturday sent a message to the league. The league answered back with a petty message of their own.
Oh my!
And I'm saying it was a petty message by the league.
Yeah, and also there was one photo from the USPA, Pittsburgh celebrating the trophy championship, and one person in the background was being chicken sandwiches and playing. All right, the other league they celebrate with champagne, celebrating a win, and all you give us is chicken sandwiches. Oh my!
Yeah, basically that's what it was. That's all. That's all Pittsburgh got was chicken sandwiches. Seriously?
Seriously.
Oh my God. You know what? I mean, they're parading the trophy around Pittsburgh right now and all that stuff, and well deserved. They should. They absolutely should, because they should not be treated like that. 26 years of hard work. 26 years of this organization. Augustine Williams said something about, we break the trophy or whatever it is, and we're not giving a proper. I tweeted back at him. Saying that trophy breaks happen all the time. Have you seen the Stanley Cup? LOL. It was like, no, you absolutely deserved a trophy celebration at the end of that match.
I agree, and what the U.S. did was just freaking petty revenge. It's horrible.
I think there's been a line. There's a line in the sand now when it comes to these negotiations. Now, with these negotiations going on, do you see something that is going to happen? Is there going to be an agreement by New Year's Eve?
50-50. I'll say it right now.
Why do you say 50-50?
Well, I don't know if the USL is now about to take a hardline stand against the players for their protest. And protests have been happening all over the league, especially DCFC with our supporter section. Play the players.
Yeah. I mean, we did it beforehand and all that stuff. Players have come into Keyworth wearing T-shirts, with a different message, but the same principle there.
You're right.
But I mean, the thing is here is, what is it going to take for these two sides to come together to an absolute reasoning? Is they gotta live up to the standards. They have to live up to those standards. I mean, you got players taking home kits at Loudon to wash. You don't have proper kit people in some clubs.
I know.
And grant you, teams are better off. I think we're well off here in Detroit. We know that Lou City's well off. I'm sure Pittsburgh's well off themselves. And a lot of this, I'm thinking it's more of a league thing than it is a club thing.
I see.
Because, if the league's not holding accountable some of these clubs, and some of these clubs are making it on their own to, create at least a minimal standard to provide players health care, to provide players with a trainer, to provide players helping them with housing and whatnot. If independent clubs are doing that, they don't. It sounds like the USL doesn't want to be the bad guy and say, okay, all right, if you're not living up to these particular standards, you may not, we may not grant you a club.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing there. You gotta balance the you gotta balance it out for all the clubs, and set a minimum standard and all that stuff. Yeah, obviously they're asking for more. Who isn't asking for more pay right now? The minimal here is provide the guys health care, provide the guys two trainers. Provide have the club's standard being 2 trainers or whatnot. Sports performance coach, whatever. Have that sense that you're a professional club. Some of these clubs aren't even, they're basically amateur, and they're supposed to be professional.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. You're not treating them like they're an amateur club. Let's say USLC is not an amateur league. It's at the second tier. What the hell?
If they want to develop a first tier, well, you gotta make it universal for all the clubs, whether it be Division 1, Championship, USL 2, or USL 1, all the way through. I'm not going to say for USL 2 because, that's basically semi-pro amateur itself. So
similar to the NPSL, the league that we were in for the first 5 years of our existence.
The thing is, we saw this in NISA, for God's sakes. The unprofessionalism in that organization. It still is.
I know.
And there still is to this day. I don't think any of those clubs have I may be wrong by saying this, but I don't think any of those clubs meet, the minimum standards that what USLPA wants.
I agree. We've been reading about it ever since we got out of there 4 years ago.
We had to upgrade our locker room facilities for the referees because of the jump to USL.
I see.
So there's some standards there. It's just that other standards have to be put there. And when they did the original CBA back in 2021, before we joined USL, it was just to get something going. Get the give the players a voice. As far as that goes. And now you're going into a new spectrum, especially going into a World Cup here. You're going into a new spectrum, which you're aggressively trying to push before 2028, but some of your clubs are falling below the standards of what a professional club should be.
I know. Yeah, and we just lost one recently because the owner team, but that doesn't work that way.
Remember, they're on hiatus because they want to go up to Division 1.
Duh. With no guarantee they're going to be in Division 1.
Exactly. So, and here's this. You want something for unprofessionality?
Okay.
Giving those players 2 months' salary and a pink slip. Now that's being unprofessional.
Yeah, I agree.
You got Valor FC guaranteeing payment for those that play for them.
Yeah.
Guaranteeing their contracts.
But they're no longer.
And then you got the owner of North Carolina FC, name escapes me at the moment, saying
Malik. Even Malik.
Malik?
Yeah.
All right. You got Malik over there saying, "Oh, sorry, we're ceasing operation right now. Here's 2 months salary and a pink slip. Have a
Oh,
nice
brother.
life."
Oh, brother. Or a new team.
Yeah.
I
So
know.
the standards have to be raised, and
Yeah.
I mean, some clubs are doing it, some clubs are not, and that's the problem. That's the problem here. If you make it universal for all the clubs to follow those standards, the players will be happier. The salaries will raise. And if you're gonna do Division One, if you're gonna do a pyramid, you got to make sure everyone in that pyramid is taken care of properly.
I agree. I
So,
agree.
needless to say, like I said, it's a mess here.
There's one other story from another league who also played their championship game on Saturday, the NWSL, and we had a lot of discussions offhand. It involved one of the players on the losing side from the Washington Spirit, Trinity Rodman. She played and she's a member of the U.S. Women's National Team. But this applies to what's going on in CBA with the WNBA, where the women want to get more paid. Trinity Rodman possibly may move on to the other women's league that played their games in fall and then in spring, the USL Super League. What's the deal there?
Their DC Power was saying that they could at least top the offer that the Washington Spirit is offering to one Trinity Rodman. Now, if that's going to happen or not, that's all hearsay. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. Like I said, USL Super League's a good league, but it's not. It's not quite there yet. Will it give it a boost if she happens to say, you know what, I'm going to stay in the States and join the Super League? You know what? It may give the Super League a little bit more credibility, especially especially when you are, uh, the home to a U.S. international like Rodman is. But here's the other scenario: the other Super League over in England may be grabbing her. I'm talking about the Women's Super League.
Oh, the Women's Super League, not the Women's Premier League. They call it the Super League in UK, right?
Absolutely. Teams from Europe are snatching up players in the NWSL. Why? Because of the hard salary cap that's in the NWSL right now. Jessica Berman just got I don't want to say reinstated, just got re-elected as the commissioner of the league. So there's plenty of chances going on. Expansion going on. Arthur Blank's bringing a franchise in for Atlanta. So to move it up to, I think, the 17 teams right now in the league now. But the problem is, with the NWSL is that salary cap. Now the thing is, do they need to raise the salary cap so that they can keep these players, or, free and open market?
Oh my!
Free and open market to try to transfer some of these players in. Because women's football, especially now, you're looking at it in Europe, it's becoming huge over in Europe. I mean, the last World Cup winners were Spain. England just won the Euro once again on the women's side. They've become a powerful footballing nation as well. So, the game's getting bigger over there, and that's huge.
You're right.
And most of these clubs, especially in the Women's Super League, are offshoots of the main club. You got a Manchester City women's side, you got an Arsenal women's side, you got a Chelsea women's side, Liverpool, so on and so forth. You got all these clubs. They are getting the financial backing from the big clubs in the Premier League.
I know, except for one team who's not connected to the Premier League, London City. Yeah, that is a club, but they don't have a team in any of the up and down men's league.
No, they don't. I mean, that's probably the only one independent out of all of those clubs in there, and they managed to make it into the Super League through the promotion relegation system over there. So, and it all boils down boils down to this: the money. Now Jessica Berman is entertaining the idea of having NWSL follow the same calendar as the USL Super League does, which is the fall to spring model.
We already had an earthquake shift with MLS moving the calendar. I don't know if the soccer earth can take another shift from the women's to the, international calendar,
I mean, the USL Super League has proven that they can do the fall to spring thing. They proved that last year, and they're doing it again this year. So this is a thing that that keeps I mean, it can happen. I mean, yeah, you gotta adjust for climates and all that stuff. I understand that, but I mean, to be in parallel with other leagues as far as getting players and whatnot, aligning yourself with international windows, aligning yourself with transfer windows, so that way you don't lose a player midway through a season because, like in the summer, midway through a season, an NWSL player decides to go over to Spain or England or whatever, decides to go over to Europe. You lose that player for the season during the summer transfer window. That's going to affect your club in a big way.
Oh, I see.
So aligning yourselves and all that. There's talks about that. Let's just say there's talks about it. It's not set in stone like MLS is right now, but there is talks about NWSL trying to become and you know what? We could see soccer. You know what? If Rodman does end up signing with DC Power, very, very highly likely that she won't. But if she does, we could be in for a women's version of Soccer Wars.
Just like us and MLS, USL and MLS. Oh my!
And NASL back in the day, we could be in for a women's version of Soccer Wars because it's come down to this: you either gotta lift the cap. Raise the cap, lift the cap, or players are going to end up walking, and they're going to walk to other leagues because of it.
I know.
So
they have that option now.
Yeah, so that's what it is there. Quick hits on some stuff here that we want to get into before we head out of here. So
we're almost out of time.
Yeah, we are almost out of time here. So let's get some. Let's go. Speed round on the European news. The big three lose this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And they lost in big ways. Only one of those three teams managed to score a goal, and that would be Manchester City against, I believe it was Newcastle. They managed to score a goal in that match. Liverpool losing 3-0 to Nottingham Forest. Yes, the same Nottingham Forest has had three coaches run the ship so far.
Oh, my. And they're out of the relegation zone, from what I checked.
And guess what? And guess where they're sitting right now? They're sitting out of the top 10. They're sitting at 11th. Why? Because Everton beat Man City on Monday, or Man United on Monday.
Yeah, it's a 1-0 victory.
1-0.
Yes, despite playing the team with 10 men, and it was not a dirty tackle on the opposing Man City player. One of the most bizarre red card ejections I have ever seen. One of the players, I can't remember his name, it happened early on. He was arguing with his teammate, and all of a sudden, he slapped him. Huh?
Yeah. Let's see. Trying to think who they got. Going back to it. Yeah. Ganagwe in the 13th minute was given a red card for violent conduct.
And
it was against his own player.
That's his own player. It's violent conduct?
Yeah.
It was another player in the red team. Oh, my God.
Yeah. 13th minute of play.
Oh, my.
Nonetheless, though, Everton, got it together, and next thing they ended up coming up with the victory in that match, thanks to a goal by. Let's see here. Where was the goal? Trying to think where the goal was. Drewsbury Hall.
Yes.
Or Dewsbury Hall in the 29th minute of play. I was like trying to find the goal. There it is. Yeah, 29th minute of play. As Everton comes away with the victory at Old Trafford.
And it have never happened. Everton being Man City and Old Trafford, And by the way, from the interviews I saw before we on, the player did apologize to the Everton team for that violent conduct slap. I never knew a slap would be violent conduct against a teammate. I heard about an opposing player.
Ask Chris Rock.
Yeah. Keep your wife name out of your damn mouth. That's not what it said, but you know what I'm talking about. I remember that pretty
well. Speaking of, I wouldn't say violent conduct. Speaking of red cards, Ronaldo, he was issued a red card
brother.
for
brother.
and a 3-game suspension. As it turns out, his suspension will be postponed during the World Cup. He's already served 1 game of that suspension. The other 2 games will be served after the World Cup.
I'll say it again. There's 2 rules for everybody else not naming Ronaldo and Ronaldo. WTF. If you think the World Cup is about to become the worst in history, and we mentioned all the politics, and all that, what the hell? What the hell?
Guess who he was with the other day?
Kenko Matako Kafefi.
And Johnny Infantino.
Brother, who's been compromised because he doesn't want to anger Kenko Taco Kafuffy. That's his name. We probably know who he is.
We know who you're talking about, Taco Kafefe.
Yeah, he was given a 1-year probationary ban. 1 year.
Yeah.
Not banned, but, on probation for 1 year. So he don't have to
he'll still serve his suspension. His suspension will occur after I'm not sure if they had any other international stuff going on in the March window, which I don't think they do because of
because remember the foul happened during a World Cup qualifying thing. And
remember, and it's handled under UEFA. And to be fair, it's handled under UEFA, not under FIFA.
Oh my!
So there's that parallel there.
Technical.
So kind of like what we had to deal with the whole Luis Suarez fiasco.
I know. So look at me, I'm pounding my pen. Oh my!
Yep. Wilfred Nancy.
Yes.
From MLS to Parkhead.
i.e. Celtic.
Yes. So Nancy, who led the crew to a MLS Cup a few years back, is now going to be in charge of the current Scottish champions.
I know. And where are they out right now, standing wise?
They're still in second place in the table in the Scottish Premier League. So right now we'll see what happens with that. By the way, the board got reelected. They redid the annual general meeting, and without certain shareholders there, and they reelected themselves again.
Yeah, you're right, and that's been the big story after the dismissal of their old coach and not paying the players, and the fan base were not happy.
Not getting players.
Not
capitalizing on trying to get into Europe or trying to do better in Europe and whatnot, and trying to keep the standing in the league.
No.
You lose players like a Kyogo, a fantastic player. You lose Yota for a little bit. I'm surprised you haven't. You lost. Obviously, you lose Carter Vickers to injury and whatnot. Trusty's still there, and of course, he's an American international who could possibly be part of this World Cup squad coming up. Colin McGregor is still a captain in this club. They just got back Johnston for Alistair Johnston, the Canadian. They just got him back, and then he went back out on medical. The problem is with Celtic right now is they're not addressing the needs of depth right now, and it seems like the board is being too frugal about getting players that they need to help them go
AKA
along.
acting cheap, right?
Yeah.
I know. Well, no, that
And you're right now you're the biggest club in Scotland and you're acting this way. This is why Scottish football is always going to be uh, the little brother to English football.
I agree.
You know,
They
because
killed
there's
some
not
get
that
love on
many. There's
Sky
not
Sports.
other than Celtic and Rangers. What other clubs are there? I mean, Hearts is making a run right now. How long are they going to be able to sustain it?
Good question.
So, I mean, needless to say, needless to say, good luck to you, Wilfred. You're gonna
Good
need
luck.
it. You're gonna need it because with this board that's there at Celtic right now, you might have some clashes with them as far as getting talent over there and trying to
Good
stay
luck.
competitive in Europe because that's what it's all about nowadays. Staying
I know.
competitive in UEFA.
Yes, either is in the Champion League, which incidentally, as we were talking, I'm watching a Championship League, one of the two 12:45 games before the bulk of the second half of match day number 5.
Hmm.
Considering they're down to the nitty gritty. Nobody's been eliminated yet, but hey, dude, for the end of the season.
All 36, I think, is like all 36 clubs are still in it right now. So, I
You're
think we got a
right.
couple more match days before Boxing Day, and then I don't think they get back into it again until like what, February?
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then
And by
that's
the
when
way,
we'll
for all
see
of
it.
you fans of Celtic, there is a bar where we do have viewing parties. It's Celtic FC at the Collect Bar on the east side of Detroit, off Kircherville. So if you love Celtic, we would love to see you and support our boys in green.
Yes. Next one coming up, I believe, is on Sunday.
Sunday.
So
Okay.
yeah, and a lot of the people that are down there, DCFC people. So you get to hang out and watch some football and have a couple pints and enjoy the match.
Yeah, right. And it's going to be tricky because I travel by bus and the bus doesn't come out until I don't know 7 or 8 the first buses. So I would prefer a Saturday matchup since I have
I would
nothing to
prefer a
do.
Saturday matchup too myself because there's a
Yeah,
lot of Sunday
I
match,
have nothing to
especially
do.
it's
I have
hard.
nothing to do. I have nothing to do until January and a little bit of February with the indoor girl on the on ramp to last ride at Keyword Stadium.
Absolutely. Yep, the last ride coming up at Keyworth Stadium. So, next week we're gonna be back. We're gonna dissect this World Cup thing.
You're
The
right.
pots came out uh for the draw that's coming up next Friday. So
Yeah.
we're gonna do a pot. We're gonna do a draw speculation special sort of next week. There's a
Okay.
couple simulators out there as far as we're gonna do an AI. You know, we're gonna do AI on that.
Do we have to go AI?
I'm doing it. I did it. I did mine earlier. I think I got one in which the U.S. was grouped with Scotland.
Oh my.
I'll have to look. It's in my photos. I'll have to look it up in my. I'll look it up in my photos real quick here. So I have one where the U.S. is playing Senegal, Scotland, and Turkey.
Turkey, as we used to say.
Yes, in Group D.
I know because, like I said, the 3 host countries have now been assigned: Mexico for Group A, Canada for Group B, and U.S. in Group D.
Yep, yep, and
Why not Group
let's.
C? It's a little confusing. So
Yep, and here's the interesting part: the top 4 teams don't get to play each other until the semifinal round.
quarterfinals.
Semifinal round.
Oh my!
Yeah. So the top 4 teams, that would be England, France, Spain would be, yeah. Oh, yeah. Argentina. No, I think right now, is it Brazil or Argentina? I'm not sure what the I'm not sure
Brazil.
what the FIFA rankings are as far as that. But the top four, definitely England and France, two of those clubs. I believe it's Argentina and Brazil as well, but
Wow.
I'm not sure. But they're not to play each other until the um, semifinal round.
They won a semifinal clash, literally.
That's how that will work. So,
But
but we'll
with these World Cup, things don't go as planned, literally.
tell that to those in France after the last one.
So next Wednesday we're going to do a pot preview, and then when the actual thing will be held,
Yeah, we're gonna
December
break down.
5th,
Yeah, we'll
12
break down.
noon,
We're gonna break
yeah,
down.
12 noon on Fox. We'll break down this whole thing and how the World Cup draw was done, considering it's in DC. Long story. We're not going to go. It's going to be a hell of a World season, considering with everything going on.
Yeah.
Everything
So
going on.
yes, the Musings / Soccer Night in Detroit World Cup preview show coming up. By the way, before we go, want to give a shout out to Red for shouting us out, and yes, we appreciate the work you guys do over at Channel 451 Tunnel Talk and the Majors Detroit and all that stuff. Anybody who's doing DCFC content on the side. We appreciate y'all and all that. Thanks for the shout out.
Thank you.
Yeah, that you
And
did.
I hope you have a great.
Their new episode of Tunnel Talk is out right now on all the streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, and it's also available on YouTube as well.
All right. And since we're not going to be here on Saturday, since the season's over anyway, happy Thanksgiving, Mad Cat. I hope you have a great break, you know what I mean, before our break. So,
And a happy Thanksgiving to you. Enjoy the Lions, all that fun stuff. Enjoy your turkey.
and let's hope I survive. And believe it or not, there is Europa League tomorrow because, they
Oh yeah, Celtics playing tomorrow at the same time as the Detroit Lions are.
Yeah, well, let's hope they do better because the last couple of games, although they won last week, was crap. I'm sorry, I have to say that.
I don't think Nancy will be in the dugout for that one because I think they'll still have Martin O'Neill. But I'm sure that announcement will be coming soonest as far as that goes. But needless to say, as I mentioned, happy Thanksgiving to you, Steve, and a happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there. Hopefully, it's a nice, safe, and enjoyable one, especially because I guess we're going to be getting some snow this weekend. But we will be back.
Don't even ask about snow. Oh.
We will be back next week with basically a World Cup draw week edition of the Musings, and then follow that up after the draw has been made, and we'll break it down as well. We'll give you our own simulations or whatever it is of how we see the pot going to be next week as far as that goes. But until then, folks, keep your feet in the ground. Keep reaching for the galaxy.